2 days after Tupac is shot, Kevin Hackey is using the telephone at the hospital to talk to the FBI. A doctor overhears this conversation and asks him, who is he providing information to? The Las Vegas Metro Police Department cops get involved in a turf war and object to Hackey discussing their case with the FBI and give Hackey until 8 p.m. to get out of town. When Reggie hears about this, he becomes suspicious of Hackey and starts calling him a snitch. September 16, 1996. From police logs, AM watch officers Jeter and Yamamoto were working crime suppression detail to address gang activity problems at Death Row Records. 18730 Oxnard Street, Suite 211. Officer Jeter spoke with the head of security at Death Row, Reggie Wright, and was informed by Mr. Wright that since the death of Tupac, Marion Suge Knight was now using gangsters from Compton as his own personal bodyguards and that they were armed. Officer Jeter was familiar with Knight's personal vey, which was there at the time. At approximately 0500 hours, Jeter and Yamamoto saw 4 veys leave Death Row in gang caravan fashion. The officers OBSD Suge Knight in the middle of vey of the caravan. What is significant is that Reggie Wright Jr. informs the police that Suge is now using convicted felons as his personal bodyguards. Reggie was snitching on Suge about a clear probation violation. Buntry was in the car with Reggie Wright Sr. when he got out to pump gas. Somebody killed Buntry. Buntry was the heavy muscle of Suge. Reggie Wright Jr. was the one that brought Malcolm Greenridge to that interview. We need to talk to Yak Fooley, Brent Becker said, who left messages with David Kenner about interviewing Yak Fooley. He then got the runaround and then was notified that he was murdered in New Jersey. The only thing I heard, and I heard it from Reggie Wright Jr., is that earlier that year, around April time, that Trayvon had gotten into a fight at the Lakewood Mall in a Foot Locker, and it was with Orlando Anderson. Under the plan Kenner and Wright Jr. had devised, Suge's death was preferable, but Suge being incarcerated with no ability under California law to conduct business from prison was a very secure position for them. They had Suge drain all of the working capital out of the bank accounts. They eliminated the accountant, financial records, and stopped all of the activity within the company. The employees were not being paid, and loyalty to Suge was waning. Still, Reggie wasn't worried about the money. He said to Michael Moore, "We won't be wanting for anything." He confided in Michael Moore because he knew he had no choice. He knew that Michael Moore had heard "Got 'em" come over Wright's radio at the time of the Tupac shooting and attempted murder of Suge. They exchanged a glance. As long as Reggie could pay Moore, he would remain silent. Reggie invented work for Moore. He already had a full-scale mop-up in the aftermath of the shooting. Well, that didn't work. That didn't work, I said. Reggie, he had like 20 guys working security, off-duty cops. I said, why would you have all of those guys over here at the hotel and have one guy with Tupac? Now, all the time Tupac has been out and I have been with him, I always went by myself